Charlie, Charlie Kirky. I'd spot the perky. Charlie, Charlie Kirky. Charlie, Charlie Kirky.
Dorfidoodle is the winner number 1.
Oh, you almost had it. You gotta be quicker than that.
Hobby husband is too slow.
Go on home, British soldiers, go on home. And you've got no bloody homes of your own. For 800 years, we fought you without fear. And we fight you for 800 more. The soldiers took the streets in '69 to protect the people at that time. In Derry and Belfast, but the peace it did not last. You were shooting people down and wrecking homes. So go on home, British soldiers, go on home. And you got no bloody homes of your own. For 800 years, we fought you without fear. And we fight you for 800 more. To see old Ireland free once more. So go on home, British soldiers, go on home. And you've got no bloody homes of your own. For 800 years, we fought you without fear. And we fight you for 800 more. Now remember Operation Motorman, when the barricades came down across the
Little
land.
Libby Zero and
You
is
were
too slow.
shooting people dead with your plastic and your lead, and you took the side of Stormont in the end. So go on home, British soldiers, go on home. And you've got no bloody homes of your own. For 800 years, we fought you without fear, and we fight you for 800 more. If you stay, British soldiers, if you stay, you'll never ever beat the IRA. For the 14 men in Derry are the last that you will bury, and take a trip and leave us all alone. So go on home, British soldiers, go on home. And you've got no bloody homes of your own. For 800 years, we fought you without fear, and we fight you for 800 more. Yes, we'll fight you for 800 more.
My God, hi everybody. I need you to know that I just need you to know these were two different videos. Yes. Oh my God, we reached our movie Discord night. Our Discord movie night. All right. We're gonna have to plan that. It'll probably be sometime in the first week of February. Sometime in the first week of February. I'll figure it out. Give me a moment. But so this is a music video by somebody. It's called Anime Dance Mix by Hyper Dancer Alter Void with 20,000 subscribers. Oh, that's the wrong link. Copied it. Thought I did. So this is the video of the anime girls, and the music, which went surprisingly well with it, was, you guys are not gonna believe this.
Go on home, British.
It's Go On Home, British Soldiers. 2K well spent. Yeah, finally you got enough points to do it. Are you out now? This is Go Home, British Soldiers Euro beat mix, which is an Irish song, but they've also got Abolish Ice back here and Wanted for Murder on here. And I was like, this is perfect. I need to find something to go over it because this is kind of, I like that they did it. I think it's really cool. I'm not trying to diminish their artwork, but I was just like, I need something like even crazier. Not out. I was like, I need something like even more engaging. So I Googled cute anime girls dancing, or well, I YouTubed cute anime girls dancing, and I was like, I know I will find a mix that goes with it perfectly. And oh my God, I can't believe how well that worked together. Yeah, I was like, oh, like there were parts I was like, is this the same thing? Like, I'm shocked. Especially, like, I didn't realize I hadn't gotten that far in. I didn't realize this, like, last scene right here would fit so well with the end of the song. You know? It was like, it was perfect. Oh, man, if the song had been like 2 seconds longer, because this come down right here, like, hold on. See if we can time it. Maybe I'll edit the two together. I don't want to steal someone else's work and just put it together. I mean, isn't that what TikTok does? Where the hell am I? What the hell am I doing? What the helly? Okay, hold on. Say the last like 10 seconds, okay? Last 10 seconds here. Fades to black there, so. Okay, hold on. I gotta see if I can do this. I have to hit 2 buttons at the same time, basically. Oh, okay, I need more time than that. Oh! Oh, this is gonna be so hard to do. Oh, I broke it! Broke! Immediately. What the helly? Okay, so it doesn't actually. Okay, wait. This would have been easier to figure out. I should have listened to the end of the song better. So the end of the song is really like 2:55. So that's 5 seconds. Okay, wait. How long is 3 minutes? So if I wait, no, I shouldn't need to take that back. Here's what I need to do.
Go on.
I need to start this 7, 8. So it was 8 and then another 5.
Christ, there's a boomer around here.
13. I need to start it at 30 seconds in. Okay. Okay, let's see if this matches up still.
On home, British soldiers, go on home. And you've got no bloody homes of your own. For 800 years, we fought you without fear. And we'll fight you for 800 more.
I love the way that fits together too. Well, the wiggle with the beat.
The soldiers took the streets in 69 to protect the people at that time. In Derry and Belfast, but the peace it did not last. You were shooting people down and wrecking homes. So go on home, British soldiers, go on home. Have you got no bloody homes of your own? For 800 years, we fought you without fear. And we fight you for 800 more. To see old Ireland free once more. So go on home, British soldiers, go on home. Have you got no bloody homes of your own? For 800 years, we fought you without fear. And we'll fight you for 800 more.
Oh my god, it did so good! It was just like this is so good. All the beat lines up with their hands. And then weird like
Now
the
remember Operation Motorman, when the barricades came down across the land. You were shooting people dead with your plastic and your lead, and you took the side of Stormont in the end. So go on home, British soldiers, go on home. And you've got no bloody homes of your own. For 800 years, we fought you without fear, and we'll fight you for 800 more. You'll never ever beat the IRA. For the 14 men in Derry are the last that you will bury. And take a trip and leave us all alone. So go on home, British soldiers, go on home. And you've got no bloody homes of your own. For 800 years we fought you without fear. And we'll fight you for 800 more. Yes, we'll fight you for 800 more.
The kicks are on time with the music. I I didn't mean to do that. I really, 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 really. I didn't. I didn't. I, oh, like I didn't know that would happen. I was just like, let me find cute. Like, I was like, okay, this song is banging, but I don't really like the still image for opening my stream. I gotta find something fun. What's fun? Cute anime girls dancing. Man, it would be really funny if I found this video. And I was like, no, I need something more active. Okay, cute anime girls dancing. Oh, here's a remix to like some techno beat or whatever. I didn't realize how well it would fit together. Like that, like moving it into 13 seconds, it was perfect. Like there were points where like the cymbal hit was when they were kicking or throwing their hand up, and like the way that the music was flowing was kind of flowing with their dance moves. And oh my god. That is the most accidental music video I've ever made. Oh my god. Go follow those creators and go tell them what I did. Because that needs to be like, they need to link up and do that on their own. Like, I think they need to absolutely do that. Like, don't change anything at all. Just link up and mash the two together. Like, that fit better than like most of the made music videos we've seen. My mind is like, it's all warm. You know, like when you take a shot for the first time and your brain just gets warm. I'm just like, that tickled every bit of dopamine I needed today. Holy shit. Wow. I don't even know where I was gonna go today. The whole stream is completely thrown off. I did not mean to do that, like, at all. I was just like, this will be fun. It was. I'm like shocked at how much fun it was. Speaking of fun, I did some canvassing today. I've gotten 6 signatures total. And by canvassing, I mean Hobby is running for Congress. He's running for District 2, New Jersey's 2nd district, sorry. And I want to show you some of the platforms that he's going to be running on and the website that we made today. Hold on, what button? There we go. I'm playing with my new paints. Are you supervised? So, Taylor for Congress, running for New Jersey's 2nd district. Abolish ICE, tax the rich, Medicare for all, federal minimum wage increases, federally legalize marijuana, stop corporate lobbying, hold corporations accountable, stop supporting any nation engaging in genocide, holding incumbent politicians accountable. And then this is his blurb. Blurb. Not supervised, got it. Former tabletop gaming store owner turned school bus driver. I know a thing or two about how Trump's tariffs have hurt both small businesses and families alike. Everyday New Jerseyans struggle to choose medication over rent, electric bill over gas bill, or food over oil changes. Far too many down here in southern New Jersey feel like their voices aren't being heard and that they are not being helped. We are sick of being told, vote for me because I am not him, instead of being told how you will help your constituents. I reject that entirely. Helping my community is what I did best while giving a place for people to enjoy their lives without fear of being harassed or belittled for the color of their skin, who they want to be and who they love. I want to do that for all New Jerseyans now while passing legislation that helps both the local level and the national. That's his platform. These are like his policies. These are the things he believes in his heart of hearts. He wouldn't have had me write these down if he didn't believe them. And then this is the summary. End summary. The only thing necessary for triumph of evil is good men to do nothing. And it's I'm doing something. So, yeah. So we have an email address set up. We have a website set up. I've emailed. It's just the two of us. So I messaged Graham Plattner's team. I messaged Bernie Sanders' team. I messaged the DSA. I messaged the Working Families Party. I messaged the local DSA or DNC. I messaged the regular DNC. And I contacted every other person I know in New Jersey. So far, I've knocked on about 50 doors with 6 signatures. So I'm at like 10%. And I'm really happy about that. I plan on knocking on a bunch more. I've also messaged the Black Panther Party to see if they're interested. That was something Hobby was like, yes, that's what I want to do. I want to message the Black Panthers and I want to see how we can organize and get together and help people. So that's what I did. I emailed all those people. So hopefully we hear back from them. If not, figure it out. But we're gonna chug ahead. I made multiple different flyers. And I also made QR codes. They're all listed in the Discord. If you're from New Jersey and you want to support someone who's actually going to fight for you in Congress, go to the Discord and find the links there. Or I think I pinned it at the top of the chat, actually. So, but yeah, I also posted in Hassan's Discord. I got a few people who really liked it and really liked the idea. I'm hoping more people will talk about it. I'm probably going to be bugging people in Hassan's Discord constantly about it because I don't know a bigger platform. I did comment on Mike from PA and send a message to a few of his like clips channels, see if they could help push. So I don't really know what to do outside of that. Like, I would love people to be able to walk with me to get signatures. That would be really cool. I would love to figure out the financing thing, but I have to wait till the DSA meeting. The Working Family Party, they don't have anybody currently for US Senate or US House of Representatives, especially for District 2, but they only have like one House of Representatives. So I'm really hoping they get back to us soon because I would love to work with them and caucus under them or whatever it is, or campaign under them. Not that it's my party, you know, these are just, I think they would be good to work with. I think they're good people. Speaking of good people, did you guys see that somebody at the Ford factory in Detroit? So, okay. Forrest told us in the Discord that Trump was coming to his neck of the woods. And so I knew he was going out to like Detroit. And so it was like, oh, he's doing like something like a speech out there. And then apparently, which I didn't know, he went to the Ford factory. And I gotta find this video. Ford. At here. Oh yeah, TMZ posted. That's how I knew it was real. That guy yelled pedophile protector. Trump points. He either says fuck you or you're fired. Oh, or motherfucker. Fuck you. Flips him off. Flips him off again. Yeah. Fuck you, fuck you. Flips him off. Wow, he was fucking salty as shit there. Oh my god. He also lost his job, but he is a UAW, United Auto Workers member. Let's go unions, union strong. So they're standing up, and they like started a GoFundMe for him, and it's raised like $150,000. So he's not only got the full support of his union behind him, and also Trump now looks really bad to like Midwesterners. Like, this is not a good look in Michigan.
Another example of free society is Donald Trump goes to the Ford plant today. I mean, I'm serious. This is what, like, and again, this isn't just some trivial thing. This is what the whole fight is about. Like, do we live in the kind of country where you can do this or not? And a worker screams at him and calls him a pedophile protector. And he flips the worker off before walking away. I think we have this footage. Play that for us. Someone screaming pedophile protector. Again, their whole thing is project strength, project popularity, only care about the base. But that's not the reality out in the world.
No, not at all. And I think at every
I bet that dude who got fired gets another job fast. Yeah, he'll be like promoted to like advisory panel or something, you know? He'll move somewhere where we never see him on the floor again. But also, like, I don't know if he can get a job if there's going to be, I don't know how that works. I don't want to comment on anything ever about what things might be when somebody's in a union and also fired, but the union's fighting to get their job back.
turn, whether it's the Epstein scandal, the way ICE is behaving, Trump's economic policies, the actions of the administration betray a lack of discipline that I think people can really see. Phil and I were talking about this in the green room earlier. If you want to make the Epstein scandal go away, which it seems the Trump administration very much wants to do, the way you don't do that is flipping off someone who calls you a pedophile protector on camera.
Yeah,
and
look how fast Epstein's back in the news. We're back from, 14 days later, 2 weeks. 2 weeks and we're back to Epstein news. We're going to invade Greenland.
It's just a sign that this administration, the same way the president can't help himself from getting in front of a camera and just crafting policy right off the bat, from screaming at reporters, the same way this administration is allowing ideological goons to join a Gestapo force with virtually no training, the way this administration is constantly trying to throw Band-Aids on top of mistake after mistake after mistake, those kinds of actions have consequences. And I think the American people, I think your 1776 comparison is particularly apt because as someone who grew up in a very conservative family, one of the core ideological principles of conservatives is the thing you need to be wary about is government repression.
Yes, exactly.
That one day the government will come for you.
And that Joe Rogan clip we played at the top, he's got a longer monologue where he says, like, this is kind of the nightmare, right? When people kind of do this. Philip Bump, Nikki McCameron, great to have you both here.
What? Yeah, so the Ford guy got fired. I'm glad people are finally talking about how Trump's trying to take us back to the 1930s. I will acknowledge that some of us have been talking about it a lot before then, and most officially when he said immigrants are, what was it, infecting the blood of America? Something like that. It was something to that effect, and it was like basically a Trump or a Hitler quote, like verbatim, minus being in German. And so, and I think about Jewish people versus like immigrants. But yeah, no. I'm glad people are finally coming around. I hope more people. I've been seeing like thousands of people in the streets almost every night in Minnesota. The, ICE people are getting really annoyed because they keep posting about you can blow your whistles all you want, it's not going to do anything. It's like, that's bothering you then. It's bothering you. It's clearly bothering you. You're very bothered. So I'm glad the tides are turning, not to take from his title. But I'm glad things are shifting. God damn it. I'm like, oh, words. They're right in front of me. Anyway, here's some news.
ICE in
While I
Minnesota
cut
is now
these
allegedly
flyers
arresting
out.
refugees, including children who have fled persecution, gone through exhaustive vetting, and have been legally admitted into the country. And that as ICE is reportedly transferring them to facilities in Texas, a state where immigrant children in detention have allegedly faced unsafe conditions. We're in a state where officers have been accused of beatings and sexual abuse, and a state where a detained migrant died just this month, one of 4 people who have died in ICE custody so far in 2026 alone. And so all of that, along with the scenes pouring out of Minneapolis of masked men roaming the streets and taking people away, that may be why you even have pro-Trump podcaster Joe Rogan coming out and comparing ICE to
Is he still pro-Trump? Is he still on that Trump train? Has he left it yet?
the Gestapo. And so yeah, there's a lot we've got to break down, really dive into, but where we're going to start are with these refugees who are now being detained according to lawyers and immigrant rights advocates. Right, and a big and important thing to know is that refugee applicants, before they're admitted to the country, they have to go through a very long and very difficult process. It involves vetting by the Department of State, the Department of Homeland Security, and other government agencies, right? And these people, they have to prove that they have a well-founded fear of persecution on account of their race, religion, political opinion, nationality, or membership in a particular group. But then last week, you had the Trump White House saying that is not enough, with specifically Citizenship and Immigration Services announcing that it would be starting what it called a sweeping initiative to conduct new background checks and intensive verification of refugees to check for fraud and other crimes, saying the initial focus is on Minnesota's 5,600 refugees who have not yet been given lawful permanent resident status. And permanent resident status, that's otherwise known as a green card. And refugees in the United States, they're technically required to apply for green cards within a year of admission, though sometimes it takes a bit longer because of money or bureaucracy or whatever. And one of the points being that's reportedly never been cause to arrest refugees or threaten them with deportation. Or with Tracy Roy, the legal director at the Immigrant Law Center of Minnesota, explaining, this has never happened, that you arrive as a refugee and that on day 366, if you are still not a green card holder, you are deportable. That has never been the way the statute has been interpreted. Though either way, at least one of the detained refugees may have already filed documents to get her green card anyways, or at least according to the woman's daughter who said she had proof. And also I'll say a mix-up, it wouldn't be all that surprising because even as the administration is demanding this one-year deadline be met, it has suspended the processing of green card applications for people from 19 countries, including Somalia, Myanmar, and Eritrea. And I mentioned those 3 because those are the 3 countries that refugees detained so far have reportedly come from, with the most coming from Somalia. And that is actually not that surprising because 1, Minneapolis and the greater Twin Cities area host the largest Somali population in the United States, and 2, they've been a particular target of Trump, who's called them garbage that he doesn't want in the country. And with that, his administration has moved to end temporary protected status for Somali immigrants, leaving them until mid-March to leave the country. Right, and a lot of this seeming to be part of the backlash to the fraud scandal that's been racking Minnesota because, according to the White House, 85 of the 98 people charged in connection so far are of Somali descent. Though, of course, as many have pointed out, 1, that's out of a population of around 80,000 in Minnesota, and 2, if Trump really cared about fraud, he maybe wouldn't have pardoned some of the country's most prolific fraudsters and robbed their victims of millions of dollars in restitution. And in any case, at least so far, there's no indication that the refugees allegedly being detained are implicated there. Or with Roy from the Immigrant Law Center saying that none of the cases she has been contacted about involved a refugee who had committed a crime beyond traffic violations. But despite that, and despite an apparent lack of any due process, they're being held against their will. And well, I highlighted allegations surrounding facilities in Texas specifically. I should note that there are concerns about conditions at detention centers all over the country. All while the administration has restricted the ability of lawmakers to inspect those facilities, and there are actually plans to massively expand detention capacity, including by renovating industrial warehouses to hold more than 80,000 immigrant detainees. And ultimately, there's all this crazy stuff happening that we don't see, although to be fair, we're
industrial warehouses. Oh my fucking God, we're at concentration camps. I mean, we've been there, but we're gonna get into the systematic killing of the immigrants levels. Okay? That is what's going to happen there. Industrial.
we're pretty distracted by all the crazy stuff we do see. Because more and more videos just continue to come out of encounters with federal agents, things that appear to show them shoving people on sidewalks, throwing flashbangs at protesters, and of course, dragging people away and shoving them into unmarked cars. And so you have examples like 2 Minneapolis residents, both American citizens, claiming to have been stopped in their vehicle by officers who then fired pepper spray through the windshield vent and smashed the window. Also claiming that one of the officers threatened them, telling them that obstructing ICE was how Renee Good got killed and then taking them away. Right, and with that, they said that they were put into adjacent cells and pressured to rat out their friends, one claiming that he was even offered money or legal protection if he gave up the names of organizers or neighbors who were in the country illegally. But in the end, they were let go without charges, though they then say they were tear gassed on the way out of the facility by officers who were dealing with protesters in the area. And all of this, it brings us to these new comments from Joe Rogan that are getting a lot of attention. Because Rogan, in addition to always looking like a boy who won free candy for life in every photo where it's him and Trump, he, of course, famously endorsed Trump in the 2024 election. And while recently he's become more and more, at least somewhat, critical of how the deportations are being carried out, on this recent show with Rand Paul, he went even further.
I can also see the point of view of the people that say, yeah, but you don't want militarized people in the streets just roaming around, snatching people up, many of which turn out to actually be U.S. citizens that just don't have their papers on them. Are we really going to be the Gestapo? Where's your papers? Is that what we've come to?
Then also notably had Rogan questioning the Trump administration's narrative of Renee Good's death.
It's complicated, obviously, but it's also very ugly. To watch someone shoot a U.S. citizen, especially a woman, in the face. I'm not that guy. I don't know what he thought. And again, this is a guy who had almost been run over, but it just looked horrific to me. I mean, when people say it's justifiable because the car hit him, it seemed like she was kind of turning the car away.
Now that said, it's still Joe Rogan. He knows who his audience is. He also paired this by saying that Good seemed out of her fucking mind and crazy. Right? And he also seemed to express support for deportations in general, even giving weight to the conspiracy theory that undocumented immigrants have been brought into the country to win elections for Democrats. But definitely it's the Gestapo comment that's been turning the most heads, getting the most traction. And it's also an argument that many more people have been making for multiple reasons. Right? It's not just one thing. You have recent posts by accounts within the administration that have been seen as a nod to neo-Nazis and extremists. And as we've talked about, you have examples like 2 days after Renee Good was shot and killed, DHS put out a recruitment post on Instagram saying, "We'll have our home again," which is the name of a song featuring language often used in white nationalist calls for a race war. In fact, the lyrics open the manifesto of the man behind a 2023 mass shooting in Jacksonville targeting black people. You also had a lot of people going, "What the hell?" when the Department of Labor posted over the weekend, "One homeland, one people, one heritage," which is not only a batshit way of describing America, but it's also, as people have argued, pretty similar to Nazi propaganda declaring one people, one nation, one leader. Right? And then you had things like with Kristi Noem standing at a podium that was plastered with the phrase, "one of ours, all of yours." Right? And there you have people claiming that's associated with a Nazi massacre of a Czech village, although with that one I will say historians have said that they're not aware of that specific phrase being used historically in that context. So still you have people saying it sounds like a threat from the administration. And with that we may be seeing the administration following through on that, not just through the presence of thousands of agents, but with financial pressure. Right? Because you had Trump yesterday saying that his administration will start denying federal funding to entire states if they're even home to so-called sanctuary cities, which are generally considered those that have policies limiting local law enforcement's ability to work with federal immigration officers. Now with that, it's unclear if Trump can actually do that in a way that'll stick. Right? The courts have already shut down 2 of his past efforts to cut off funding for sanctuary jurisdictions, once during his first term, another during this term. Also, a judge has blocked his attempt to stop sending money to 5 Democratic-led states for daycare subsidies and other aid to low-income families with children. You also had another judge ruling against a threat to cut nearly $8 billion in clean energy funding to states that voted against him in the 2024 elections. Right? And then there's also a legal battle playing out over a warning from the Department of Agriculture that it would withhold funds from states refusing to provide data about SNAP recipients. And so with all that said, it's really the mass deployment of federal agents that seems to be having the greatest impact right now. Though on the note of agents, the identities of around thousands of them have allegedly just been leaked and shared with a website called the ICE List, or with the ICE List calling itself a journalistic project meant to share information to hold ICE members legally accountable. And very notably, Dominic Skinner, who runs the website from the Netherlands, says that individual reports about DHS personnel.
Yeah, they run it from the Netherlands, so they can't be charged or prosecuted. There's nothing they can do to take down those servers.
From the public, that has spiked since Good shooting. With him adding, I've had hotel staff sending post-it notes, bar staff sending DHS IDs, and loads of people saying their neighbor is an agent. And this alleged leak of 4,500 names all at once, apparently from a whistleblower, reportedly may be the largest ever breach of department staff data ever. And so with that, you had DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin, who's included on the site, claiming that the leak would constitute 4,500 felonies, and adding, the disgusting doxing of our officers put their lives and their families in serious danger. And adding, anyone who doxes our officers will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Now that said, since the website is hosted abroad, there might not be much that the White House can actually do on that front. And making that an even bigger deal is you have Skinner saying that he plans to release the majority of names from the leak, but he will make exceptions. Right? Exceptions that include nurses and those who work in childcare at the agency. Though, very interestingly, he claimed today that the website came under a prolonged and sophisticated cyber attack after news of the leak broke, and he said that the attack originated from Russia and added, it is clear some people out there do not want the names of ICE and Border Patrol agents made public. And so while we're gonna have to wait to see,
Hi everyone, I'm Half here. I am training a new driver today. Good luck training your driver.
how all this plays out. In the meantime, while we're on the topic of ICE agents, we should talk about what it takes to be one. And the answer there actually might be not much. Or because ICE is apparently hiring recruits before they submit basic paperwork or drug test results and without conducting the most cursory background check. That was the experience of a recruit who wrote a Slate article exposing some just absolutely horrifying issues with the agency's hiring process. And the recruit at the center of this story is Laura Jadid, a freelance journalist who focuses on American conservative and far-right movements. And Jadid, she went to the ICE Career Expo in Texas last August because she wanted to learn what it was like to apply to be an ICE agent. And while having no actual intent to join ICE, Jadid thought, hey, my resume is pretty strong enough that maybe I can get my foot in the door to check out the whole recruiting process. She enlisted in the Army right out of college. She served 2 deployments in Afghanistan before then, working as a civilian analyst for a few years. Though notably, Jadid intentionally left out any mention of her current occupation as a journalist. And she figured that that omission would prevent her from even making it through the initial review, because once the hiring managers did even a simple Google search, they'd find a whole host of articles where she's condemning Trump, his administration, and the right-wing shift of the country at large. Which even has a dossier on Antifa Watch, this right-wing website that says it tracks what it says are alleged members of a group that conservatives have branded as a domestic terrorist organization. So she goes to the expo, registers for an interview time slot, but when she gets there at 9 a.m., there's barely anyone there. There's no line to check or go through security, and the hallways and drug testing stations, they're nearly empty. There are only 6 people ahead of her for the interview, and even though the expo was held in a massive esports stadium, Jadid said that there could have been more than 150 people in the event space during the entire visit. Though, I will say, another reporter said that over the course of the 2 days, 3,000 people attended the event. But again, at least while Jadid was there, the stadium was pretty damn empty. And then when it comes time for her interview, it ends up being pretty surface level, where she's asked for basic identifying information, whether she has law enforcement or military experience, and her location preferences. She also explains the gap in her resume where she omitted her current occupation, saying that she went to college part-time and was doing gig economy stuff, with then the interviewer telling her that ICE is prioritizing current law enforcement first and would look at her resume, and if they liked what they saw, she'd get an email with next steps. And so she leaves the interview going, okay, this is probably the end. There's no way they're gonna hire me once they Google my name. But still, she initially keeps a close eye on her inbox, but then after a few days, she's not as careful, and that's how she initially missed the email from ICE giving her a tentative job offer. And she says this email provided a series of steps that she had to take on a tight deadline. She had just 48 hours to log on to USA Jobs and fill out a declaration for federal employment, and 5 more days to return the forms attached to the email. Right, in those forms, including driver's license information, an affidavit that she never has been convicted for domestic violence, and a consent for a background check. And this is a key thing for what happens next, right? The instructions in the email explicitly stated, if you are declining the position, it is not necessary to complete the action items listed below. But because she didn't see the email, she already missed the deadline to do all those things. And so Jadid assumes, okay, that's the natural end to this experiment, but then plot twist, it gets so much crazier. Right, 3 weeks later, she gets another email that reads, thank you for confirming that you wish to continue with the hiring process, which of course is a surprise to her because she literally did not confirm that she wished to continue. But still, she goes, okay, well, let's try and move ahead. Let's take the pre-employment drug test that ICE requested just for shits and giggles. Right in there, thinking that, well, there's no way she's going to pass because she had smoked pot 6 days before her test. And so she waits for that call saying, you failed your drug test. But after not hearing anything for 9 days, she decides, hey, let me go log on to USA Jobs and check the application to see if my drug test had come through. And that is when she learned that ICE had offered her a job, all without her even knowing or even submitting any of the paperwork they requested. No background check, no domestic violence affidavit, no clean drug test result, nothing. Boom, hired by ICE. And while the portal noted that pre-employment activities remained pending, it also showed that she had accepted a final job offer and listed her onboarding status as entered on duty, right, with the portal indicating that she had officially been entered on duty on September 30th, several days earlier, and supposedly the same day that ICE sent her the final offer that she had supposedly accepted. Now, notably here, Jadid does acknowledge that maybe if she had accepted the job, they would have demanded her pre-employment paperwork, done some basic screening, and then fired her ASAP. But even then, she writes that the pending and upcoming task list suggested a very different outcome, right? Noting that on October 6th, a date 3 days in the future at this point, her physical fitness test had been initiated and both her medical and background checks had been completed. And so she wrote and wondered, was ICE seriously going to let me start training without finding out the first thing about me? And with that saying, I reached out to ICE for an explanation, but never heard back. But also, she never found out because ultimately she declined the job. And so overall, she said her experience should make everyone very concerned, right? Noting that maybe this was a computer glitch, maybe this was a one-of-a-kind situation, an outlier, but with that, arguing, given all the above, it seems far more likely that ICE is running an extremely leaky ship when it comes to recruitment, and adding that it's basically impossible to know for sure.
That makes me wonder, like, could people, like, apply for ICE, get the job, who are, like, not on ICE's side, and then use that information to, like, help, like, the ICE outer, or, like, like a spy almost. Like, do you think that people could do that? Because there were people like that. I hope they stay for 5 years for that 50K bonus. which they def ain't getting. No, they're not. Absolutely not. I it would be really funny if a bunch of like dude bro looking leftists like infiltrated ICE and then just started ratting them the fuck out. You'd have to be smart about it. You have to be smart. You'd have to have somebody who's you need two middlemen. I mean, if they can actually do sit-ups, they might get sussed out for being spies. I mean, do you think any of those people are demanding somebody drop and give them 50? Like, I think the only time they're like, give me 50, it's like some money to go get from a restaurant for food. They had to drop that requirement. Yeah, exactly. Nobody's just gonna sit down and start doing sit-ups. Too many recruits were falling out. LOL. Yeah. I don't like making fun of people's weight though. Like even when they're fascist, I'm like, it hurts me and I don't like that language.
Because there's just so little oversight of ICE and the agency conceals its agents' identities. Right? And with all this, wondering if this agency missed the fact that she was an anti-ICE journalist who didn't even complete her paperwork, what other major things are they missing for everyone else? Asking how many convicted domestic abusers are being given guns and sent into other people's homes? How many people with ties to white supremacist organizations are indiscriminately targeting minorities on principle, regardless of immigration status? How many rapists and pedophiles are working in ICE detention centers with direct and unsupervised access to a population that will be neither believed nor missed? How are we to trust ICE's allegedly thorough investigations of the people they detain and deport when they can't even keep their HR paperwork straight? And adding, if ICE didn't screen her out, they also can't be expected to hire competent recruits. And with all this, she then specifically pointed to the killing of Renee Good. And so just a completely insane situation. And as far as how DHS has responded, they have now released a statement on X saying, this is such a lazy lie. This individual was never offered a job at ICE, saying applicants may receive a tentative selection letter following their initial application and interview that is not a job offer. It just means they are invited to submit information for review.
A lazy lie? Girl, it looks like she did so much work, bro. A lazy lie? Yeah, she fabricated everything and AI the entire, exact layout of your page and all of your information. Like she totally photoshopped all of that after hours and hours of doing that and was like, yes, I'm gonna write this. Do you know how fucking ridiculous? I almost said it. How ridiculous you are if you think that someone it's lazy to sit there and Photoshop shit or make AI shit for 12 hours to invest this much in a lie. Like that's absolutely ridiculous. Nobody lies that hard. Nobody. Why would it's so much energy to lie? Like, come on. And that makes this this sentence discredits everything else. They could have just deleted that, but this just comes off petty.
Similar to any other applicant. But that appears to directly fly in the face of Jadid literally sharing a screen recording of the portal where it says in multiple locations that she was sent a job offer, including one page that explicitly reads, the final job offer has been sent out for response on the following September 30th, 2025. And Jadid actually shared that screen recording well before DHS made their statement. So if anything, their response is the thing that seems lazy. Right? It lends itself to the idea that they don't actually know what the fuck is going on over there. And so, all of this, it's just a crazy situation. I'd love to know your thoughts, opinions, and reactions to everything. Of course, share to spread the word. And then there's more we've got to dive into here. But first, let me say, if I stop using a service, it's usually because it didn't actually do anything. Today's sponsor, Incogni, it passed that test years ago, which is why I'm still using it. But I signed up because I didn't love the idea of my personal information just floating around the internet like a free sample tray. Data brokers, they collect way more than you think. Addresses, emails, family connections, even stuff you never knowingly shared. And Incogni, they handle the annoying part for me. They reach out to those companies, they demand my data be deleted, and they keep checking so it stays gone. I don't have to track down sketchy sites or send emails into the void. Incogni does it automatically. With Incogni's custom removal feature on the unlimited and family unlimited plans, you can point to sketchy sites showing your data and their privacy team handles it. And watching those data deletions roll in, it's weirdly satisfying. And it's work I definitely didn't have the hours or patience to do manually. For me, it's peace of mind. I don't need more things to manage. I need fewer risks. So hey, if you want to stop your personal data from being passed around like a party favor, check out Incogni. Just scan that QR code or go to incogni.com/DeFranco and use code DeFranco for 60% off. That's Incogni.
Are not as good as the last one. No. No, don't bring it up.
Cogni.com/DeFranco, code DeFranco, because scammers can't steal what's not there. But then, getting back into the news, more news you need to know. We need to talk about how Denmark is mobilizing troops now to protect Greenland, probably from Donald Trump. Because among the millions of things happening, you've got the Trump administration gunning for a U.S. takeover of Greenland, even though pretty much everyone's against the idea, including residents of Greenland, as well as leaders in Denmark, NATO, and the EU. Though Trump has repeatedly claimed that the U.S. needs Greenland for national security and saying that it's just covered by Chinese and Russian ships, which is a claim that both experts and Greenland residents have expressed doubt over. Right? And Greenland's prime minister has made their stance very clear, saying Greenland does not want to be owned by the USA. Greenland does not want to be governed by the USA. Greenland will not be part of the USA. We choose the Greenland we know today, which is part of the Kingdom of Denmark. And with that, adding, now we are faced with a geopolitical crisis, and if we have to choose between the USA and Denmark here and now, we choose Denmark. Something that you've seen echoed by many Greenland residents, saying that they're concerned about cultural differences as well as losing the Scandinavian welfare system. Because among other things, exchanging free healthcare for whatever the fuck it is we have doesn't sound appealing to a lot of people. And even back here in the States, the majority of Americans aren't really on board. But according to a Reuters poll, only 17% of Americans support Trump's efforts to annex Greenland. But Trump really doesn't seem concerned with American or Greenlander opinions on this, and he's very pointedly said that he hasn't ruled out taking Greenland by force. He's even promised that we'll do this, what he called the hard way if necessary, which has led to several European countries promising to defend Greenland in the case of an invasion. And all of that's connected then to the news today that Denmark is increasing military presence in and around Greenland in the coming period involving aircraft, ships, and soldiers. You're also seeing Swedish armed forces arriving as a part of a group from several allied countries, which includes Germany, France, and Norway. But again, even in the face of that, Trump is not letting up. In fact, early this morning, he doubled down on this whole thing again, where Trump's saying Greenland is necessary for
Well, and I think Denmark went live today on TikTok, right?
his plan to build the Golden Dome. And if you don't remember, that's his grand plan for a futuristic missile defense system, right? And then Trump also directly called out NATO, saying that they should be leading the way for the United States to take.
Okay, wait, I gotta read the whole thing. The United States needs Greenland for the purpose of national security. It is vital for the Golden Dome we are building. NATO should be leading the way for us to get it. If we don't, Russia or China will. Nobody wants the Golden Dome. Nobody. I mean, China's out there building wind turbines for wind power that they look like aircrafts. I've never seen anything like it. It just and it just floats there like an inflatable. It's so cool. And it's powering the grid. Meanwhile, we got this dumb fuck who wants to build a Golden Dome. Gee, save us. Gee, save us, sorry. Militarily, without the vast power of the United States, much of which I built during my first term and am now bringing to a new and even higher level, NATO would not be an effective force or deterrent, not even close. They know that, and so do I. NATO becomes far more formidable and effective with Greenland in the hands of the United States. Anything less than that is unacceptable. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. This is so fucking dumb.
Take Greenland, or else, quote, Russia or China will, and that is not going to happen. Adding that NATO is not an effective force or deterrent, and saying NATO becomes far more formidable and effective with Greenland in the hands of the United States. Anything less than that is unacceptable. And the timing of all this is interesting because Trump's statement on Truth Social, it came just hours before a scheduled meeting between Denmark's foreign minister, his Greenland counterpart, and J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
Can we just choose Denmark to take us instead? You don't know how many people on Twitter are tweeting, can Denmark just invade us like we invaded Venezuela and take Trump, but none of us want him back? None of us would go to war for him? Maybe, oh man, so 74 million, roughly 74 million people voted for Trump, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure that number is less now, even among Trump supporters. And also, I must remind you, if you want to see the actual poll numbers reflect more of the world around you, please go to YouGov, Google YouGov polls, because I don't remember the website, and make an account and fill out those polls, because those are what the media looks at, and that's then what the administration also looks at. Everybody looks at those polls. And the reason we're seeing 44% of MAGA polled, and it's there were 2 MAGA, or 3 MAGA in the room, Because only 3 MAGA answered their emails? All right, 1 second. One second. Oop. Dance party? Oh my god. Suggested donation is $10. Oh my god, I have to share that. Sorry. My friends are sending me events that might be going on that would be good to show up at for political and supportive reasons. Um Fuck, what was I saying? Yeah, no. Can someone just take Trump? I don't think maybe like 30 million Americans might give a shit enough, but there's 330 million of us, okay? Like what, 10%?
Rubio to discuss Greenland. And, you know, this meeting, it's been seen by Copenhagen as a crucial chance to ease tensions with the Trump administration. You even had a Danish foreign minister saying, our reason for seeking the meeting we have now been given was to move this whole discussion, which has not become less tense since we last met, into a meeting room where we can look each other in the eye and talk about these things. While it was initially just a meeting with Rubio, Vance reportedly jumped in as well, offering to host the meeting at the White House. And after that meeting, we saw the Danish and Greenland officials giving a press conference saying that the discussion was constructive and they were able to challenge Trump's social media narrative about Chinese and Russian ships surrounding Greenland. But as for a genuine solution, it looks like that's still a ways off. Or the Danish foreign minister is saying at the meeting to establish a new high-level group that will meet for the first time in the next few weeks to address what he called the security concerns of the US while still respecting the borders of Greenland as a part of the Kingdom of Denmark. Right? Because as we get closer to November, Trump seems determined to not let power slip out of his hands the way that it did in 2020. Now, whether Republicans, they get on board, that's an open question publicly. They praise him, he's a god, but we do know that privately at least, some of them think he's just a buffoon. And we just got secret grand jury transcripts confirming that from the now dead Georgia election interference case in 20.
Wait, what? When did that drop? The 13th? Oh my, yesterday. Okay.
2022. So, for example, in his testimony, Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, who just last week called Trump
The greatest president of all time.
also called Trump's scheme to enlist fake electors from swing states in 2020 weird, and adding, I don't know what to tell you, just weird. With him saying at the time, I have told him more times than we can count that he fell short, and then adding, if you told him Martians came and stole votes, he'd be inclined to believe it. But also, right, Graham's not alone here. You also had former Georgia State House Speaker David Ralston, who resisted Trump's demands that he try to throw out the election results.
You do it to uncover fraud. You could say for transparency and to uncover fraud, possible fraud. So who's going to stop you for that? You know, it's like
a federal judge.
With him later calling the fake elector scheme the craziest thing I've heard. Also, you had Liz Cheney saying that on January 6th, after rioters had already stormed the Capitol, her fellow GOP House members lined up to sign on to sheets objecting to Biden's electoral votes. One of them, Mark Green, saying sheepishly to no one in particular, the things we do for the orange Jesus. You know, all of that craziness and the flip-flopping since then and the gaslighting, it's not just ancient history. It matters right now because Trump's approval ratings, they're in the toilet. You've got polling predicting that if nothing changes, Democrats are gonna win the midterms. And historically, the governing party, it just tends to lose the first midterm after winning the presidency. So there's a lot of talk right now about, are we going to see a replay of the 2020 election? Now, of course, you know, there is a difference. The presidency itself isn't up for grabs until 2028, but in a speech to House Republicans this month, you had Trump casting 2026 as existential for him.
You got to win the midterms, because if we don't win the midterms,
Speaking of midterms, now's a good time to plug my husband. Wait a minute. That's not what I meant. I'm gonna be the reason this man does not get into Congress, and it's gonna be all me putting my foot in my mouth. Oh my god. Okay. Speaking of Congress, for those who haven't heard, my husband is running for Congress. He's running for Jeff Van Drew's seat in New Jersey's 2nd District. Now, he is running on abolishing ICE, taxing the rich, Medicare for all, federal minimum wage increase, federal legalization of marijuana, federally legalized marijuana, stopping corporate lobbying, holding corporations accountable, stop supporting any nation engaging in genocide, holding incumbent politicians accountable. More will probably be added later. I did this real fast. Former tabletop gaming store owner turned school bus driver. I know a thing or two about how Trump's tariffs have hurt both small businesses and families alike. Everyday New Jerseyans struggle to choose between medication over rent, electric bill over gas bill, or food over oil changes. Far too many down here in southern New Jersey feel like their voices aren't being heard and they are not being helped. We are sick of being told, vote for me because I am not him, instead of being told how you will help your constituents. I reject that entirely. Helping my community is what I did best while giving a place for people to enjoy their lives without fear of being harassed or belittled for the color of their skin, who they want to be, and who they love. I want to do that for all New Jerseyans now, while passing legislation that helps on both the local level and the national level. So, and then it's the only thing necessary for triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. And I'm doing something. So that's Josh Taylor for Congress, Jersey 2nd District. Check him out. I'm so bad at this. Please volunteer because I suck. Or send this as a clip to Bernie Sanders. Okay? At Bernie Sanders.
It's just going to be, I mean, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached.
Also, keeping that in mind, at another point he added,
Now, I won't say cancel the election. They should cancel the election because the fake news will say he wants the elections canceled. He's a dictator.
right, and with all this, you're seeing experts worried that Trump might invoke the Insurrection Act and deploy the military, the National Guard, or
A lot of us have been saying that for a while.
federal agents to Democratic cities on election day. Right, and short of, just canceling the elections, which is something Trump definitely cannot do legally, there are numerous levers that he can pull to try to make things go his way. Right, he's already got Republicans in Texas, Ohio, Missouri, and North Carolina to redraw congressional districts 5 years ahead of schedule. In Florida, they still may join in. Then in August, he announced that he directed his Commerce Department to immediately begin work on a new census that excludes non-citizens. And that could be huge because the census determines how many electoral votes and House seats each state gets, as well as how their maps are drawn. So there, I'll say it's highly unlikely that Trump can force a new mid-decade census in time to impact the midterms, at least, especially with primaries happening early in the year. But there is much more, right? For example, he truthed last August, I'm going to lead a movement to get rid of mail-in ballots. And also, while we're at it, highly inaccurate, very expensive, and seriously controversial voting machines, which cost 10 times more than accurate and sophisticated watermark paper, which is faster and leaves no doubt at the end of the evening as to who won and who lost the election. We will begin this effort, which will be strongly opposed by the Democrats because they cheat at levels never seen before, by signing an executive order to help bring honesty to the 2026 midterm elections. Remember, the states are merely an agent for the federal government in counting and tabulating the votes. They must do what the federal government, as represented by the President of the United States, tells them for the good of our country to do. The mail-in ballot hoax using voting machines that are a complete and total disaster must end now. So, few things. First of all, it is not true that states are merely an agent of the federal government. In fact, if anything, it's the opposite, right? The Constitution gives states broad leeway to run elections how they see fit. Second, there's no evidence that mail-in ballots are fraudulent, but maybe more importantly, neither is there for voting machines. In fact, if anything, they're much more accurate and faster than tallying votes by hand. And so if Trump got his way and, states stopped using voting machines altogether, states would have to recruit hundreds of thousands of additional poll workers. Results would take days, weeks, or even months to compute, and recounts and court challenges, they'd probably spike because the tallies would be less reliable. But, even if he can't get rid of them, Trump can still sow distrust in the machines and then exploit that confusion to do the nuclear option, seizing them by force. Where during his interview with the New York Times last week, he expressed regret that he didn't order the National Guard to seize voting machines after the election in 2020. Right, and for some context there, in December of that year, two of his most crackpot outside advisors, Sidney Powell and Michael Flynn, they urged him to direct the military or federal agents to seize voting machines, and they even presented him with draft executive orders to do it. it. And Trump, he seemed receptive at the time, right? He brought up the idea with his attorney general, Bill Barr, who then shot it down. And then he directed Rudy Giuliani to ask high-ranking DHS officials if they could actually legally seize the machines, but that was shot down again. And so now Trump, he told the Times he should have just moved forward with the idea, which then raises the question, if he tries to do that in 2026, who's going to stop him? Right? Probably not AG Pam Bondi, who as Trump's lawyer in 2020 claimed that he actually won Pennsylvania and then dodged questions about whether Biden won during her confirmation hearings as Attorney General. Definitely not Harmeet K. Dillon, the Assistant Attorney General and head of the DOJ's Civil Rights Division, which oversees voting issues, who's an election denier. You also have Heather Honey, the Deputy Assistant Secretary at Homeland Security, who now helps oversee election infrastructure. She's also probably unlikely because she worked on a probe into Arizona's 2020 election and has challenged voters' eligibility in Pennsylvania. You then have Eric Neff, the acting chief of the DOJ's Voting Rights Division, who once filed highly dubious charges against the head of an election software company when he was a prosecutor. And then, of course, you have this man, Kash Patel, and he has his own history of election denialism. How Trump's White House reportedly vetted job applicants all the way down to entry-level positions with questions like, who won the 2020 presidential election? And so even if Democrats do well and understand the message of this is not to just give up or don't go out, you gotta make the numbers matter and undeniable. You have some Dems worried that with their extensive gerrymandering, voter suppression, and other tactics, they just might cling on to their razor-thin House majority anyway. And so with the lunatics running the asylum here being the executive branch, one of the main checks left on Trump's power is the conservative judiciary, which I will say does hold out some hope, though how much is really an open question. Where the Supreme Court upheld the gerrymandered map in Texas, but there are other maps still being considered. It also dealt Trump a surprising blow recently by ruling that his deployment of National Guard to Chicago was illegal, so it's doubtful whether they'd support a scheme to seize voting machines. But with all this, I'll say they're set to hear a case this summer addressing the legality of Trump's executive order barring election officials from accepting mail-in ballots received after Election Day, even if they're postmarked before. And that's big on its own, but also because the U.S. Postal Service just changed its guidelines so that some mail won't be postmarked until days after it was put into the mailbox. But hey, we are still many months away from November, and there is a lot that could happen in that time, including the resurrection of his best friend, Jeffrey Epstein. Which, yeah, you might say that's impossible, but how many things are we living through right now that felt impossible just weeks, months, and years ago? And then there's more you need to know, more we need to dive into in just a minute. But first, let me take a second to sponsor myself, because right now over at beautifulbastard.com, we are restocked with our signature collection and revamped prints. Right over the break, we were working with our manufacturers not only to make sure that, you know, the shirts and the hoodies, they were top notch, but also that the prints on them were even better. Really vibrant, longer lasting, even when you don't follow the washing instructions like I don't. And so right now you can snag our new Thriving gear. For me, it's a sarcastic wear, along with our emotionally exhausted line, God is testing me and I refuse to study, a silly goose in this economy, and even more. All, of course, at beautifulbastard.com. But then from that, the final thing that we need to talk about today, or really maybe I just want to talk about with you today, you had Trump flipping off that heckler yesterday. Especially as that heckler yesterday is, we'll say, having job troubles, but also maybe it was actually a good monetary decision. Because yesterday, Trump was touring a Ford plant in Michigan, and in a viral video, you can vaguely hear an employee off camera call him a pedophile protector. With then Trump's response being to point at the person, seemingly mouth a fuck you twice, and then give him the middle finger. And with that, you had the White House defending the move, saying a lunatic.
Look at this guy.
Your
Shaped
underscore
like
pal
that.
underscore blue
It was
69
wildly
wants to
screaming.
know what you're wearing.
Oh, you want to know what I'm wearing? Okay, hold on. I got black skinny jeans that keep down, and I got black socks. Took my boots off. Hell yeah, stick fit. Thanks, bro. I feel good in it. I wanted something warm for when I was canvassing today. Not canvassing, getting signatures, petitioning.
Expletives in a complete fit of rage, and the president gave an appropriate and unambiguous response. And then, as far as the heckler's place of work, they did not adamantly defend him, with the United Auto Workers saying that the Ford employee was suspended after the incident. Right, and the employee in question has now been identified by multiple outlets as TJ Sabula, a 40-year-old line worker at the factory, with him then telling the Washington Post, as far as calling him out, definitely no regrets whatsoever. Though he said he is concerned about the future of his job and says that he was targeted for political retribution for embarrassing Trump in front of his friends. And also, in case there was any doubt what he meant by pedophile protector,
I have been playing Pokemon Legends but I took my anxiety meds earlier in the day, so I was like super sleepy, so I was napping and playing Yeah, no worries.
he clarified that he was in fact referencing the Epstein files, saying that he was, just 60 feet away from Trump, who could hear him clearly, and so he thought I don't feel as though fate looks upon you often, and when it does, you better be ready to seize the opportunity, and today, I think I did that. With him describing himself as an independent who has never voted for Trump, though he has voted for other Republicans in the past, and then as far as Ford's response, you had a spokesperson saying, "One of our core values is respect, and we don't condone anyone saying anything inappropriate like that within our facilities. When that happens, we have a process to deal with it, but we don't get into specific personnel matters." And you had the company's executive chairman, Bill Ford, also trying to downplay the interaction as just a brief 6-second moment out of an otherwise very successful tour. Really, if you look online, no one's talking about any other part of the tour. It's pretty much all about this. Trump's supporters kind of loving this from him, though also a lot of others thinking this is low, even for Trump. It's not presidential, though what does that even mean anymore? But you also had a lot of people defending the employee, not only for calling Trump out, but saying, he didn't shout expletives, that the only obscene part of the whole interaction was Trump giving a fuck you gesture. The UAW union also releasing a statement saying they stand with him and his freedom of speech.
Dude, I wonder how many UAW members he just lost in terms of votes.
Right, adding that they will ensure that his rights as a union member are protected, and saying that workers should never be subjected to vulgar language or behavior by anyone, including the President of the United States. And so with all this, right, one of the ways we've seen people rallying around this employee is that people have made GoFundMes to support him amid his suspension, right? And some have actually already raised hundreds of thousands of dollars in donations, which really makes you think, wow, calling the president a pedophile protector for, fighting against the release of the Epstein files so hard and jumping through hoops and trying to distract everyone. Who knew that was essentially a lottery ticket? So there, your friendly neighborhood Philip DeFranco is going to say, be careful. A lot of people lose the lottery. Use your best judgment. Results may vary. With this and really anything else that we covered and really stood out to you today you want to sound off on, let me know what you're thinking in those comments down below. Because it brings us to the end of your Wednesday Philip DeFranco show dive into the news.
Whiplash. There's so much shit happening all the time. Oh, man. Okay, I have to use the bathroom. But I would I don't want to play Animal Crossing soon. But wow, that video took so long to watch. What happened? Okay, I'm gonna put on some music. I'll be right back. didn't get it. Oh my. Didn't get any food. Nothing really piqued my interest. Okay, I think I'm gonna switch to Animal Crossing now. I would like to maybe try the update, but how that goes. Come on, open up. I did update it inside, so. Get my shoes. Save data will now be updated due to new release version. Oh no, wait, I got no Wi-Fi up here. Oh. Okay, never mind. I was worried. I was concerned. There's then you'll be too back there. Okay. So like I've also been playing Baldur's Gate off stream. Along with so like Ty is the one thing I play on stream. Baldur's Gate's the only thing I don't play on stream. I play on stream, Baldur's Gate I don't. Anyway, I just got to the Shadow Curse lands. I beat Marcus. And I feel like I did something else, but I don't remember. But I'm just chugging through it. I have a surprise announcement. A hotel has been built on the island pier. Go see what it looks like. Oh, wait, I forgot to show you guys. I got a new MILF. This, like, kangaroo. She's so cute. I forget her name. Marcy. And, like, she's an absolute unit. Yeah. I didn't know there were MILFs in Animal Crossing. Build it. I can do this. Oh. Bollocks. Damn it, I didn't want to have to dig this bush up. Oh my god, I was talking on the way home from doing some petitioning. Talking to Hobby. And I was like, oh man, I'm sick of the way this lady never trims her bushes because I can't even walk on the sidewalk because they're all into the sidewalk. And like the sidewalk's all like crappy where she is and like I hate it. And then I start giggling. And then I was like, hi, I'm Charlie and I'm gonna trim your bushes and fill your holes. Is it potholes? I keep giggling about that every now and then. I'm like, haha, potholes. Okay. Let's... There, I want to... Why does this look off-center? Oh, wait, I see what I did wrong. Okay, hold on. That air. Accidentally throwing Pokeballs at Pokemon. So is Za kind of like Arceus or whatever? Realize I don't know how I'm gonna get out of here. Because in Arceus, you throw out your Pokemon at the wild Pokemon. I forget how to play. I should play it again. And there's no room for anything. It fit last time. Like to put the instant burner. Yes. Thank you. Okay. Finally. Fun. That's a pretty big pier. Oh, I hit it. Gotta be quicker than that. I mean, it's very pretty. I like the lights. Ow, ow, ow. Yes, you can talk me into it. Ooh, I'll be compensated? Yeah, wait, what am I gonna be compensated with? Ooh, cute. Gotta talk to people. Yeah, I'll help. We'll do some decorating. It's just like Happy Homes. Except you don't have to go out and ask somebody what they want and pick a theme. I guess there's no Everstones in Pokemon Legends, Really? Side room. It's what one of my friends said. Oh. Okay, you said you'd leave me to it. Can you leave the room? East side, the okay. Definitely the east. Yes to that, yes to that. Oh, we're absolutely No, I like the flooring. The flooring gives me ocean vibes. Oh, wait. Hang it. I wanted to... Now we have to pick... I'm picking out way too many little things without having big stuff to put on. Oh, I didn't realize that mat was that big. Oh, well, that's inconvenient. Okay. I was going to trade people haunters holding Everstones. Oh, that would have been nice of you. Can I put walls? Is that a... Yes. Let me rotate. God, it's fun, but I just kind of want to play the main. Fair. Window. Have it. This is so stressful. I think my problem is I'm trying to make it look like an ocean. They wouldn't even be able to get... It looks pretty nice so far. I'm not happy with it. I'm so not happy with it, I turned off the lights. Jeez, I am struggle busting through the... Alright, I know I want to put a kitchen. Oh wait, can I expand the room? Oh my god, that makes things so much easier. I didn't know I could expand it. Oh goodness. Wrong button. So that looks very... Okay, yeah. Okay. Oh, okay, now I feel a little bit... Oh. I know I want a kitchen. Like a little kitchen. literally just grinding levels instead of progressing the story. That's no fun. Yeah, that's when it's like, okay, I don't want to play this game anymore. Countertop. So we're gonna... I don't know. Oh, partitions. Nice. Oh. Oh, wait, but... And my Pidgey has Gust, so I'm going to make the bug types go extinct. Wait, I will do that with any Pokemon games so battles are a breed. Oh. No! How do I undo? Damn it. Oh, definitely. I'd rather decorate. I like the one time when I was little on Soul Silver, I leveled up my Typhlosion to level 64 before I battled Claire and the Dragon type gym leader. Don't they max out at a particular level? Yeah, I'm looking at this food. So hungry. Even right. Have this. I'm like trying to keep it up to OSHA code. Rather the fridge be. Rather this be like here. Still running into the same issue. There. Another stove. Can I do another stove, please? Oh, wait. I don't really have the best options. No, I mean, I guess I could do that one. Oh, no, I meant, isn't there like a max level for, gym trainers? I thought that was like 70. I want to change the wall color. Like, I want to keep it the same blue. That's not bad. You mean like for trainers you battle? Yeah, like isn't the Elite Four like a max level, like a certain level? They can't go higher than X level. I think I'm gonna go with that. I mean, it's like a level range. Oh, okay. I thought maybe that like certain trainers are like the Elite Four can't be higher than like level X, and like X be, 76 or something. Their Pokemon will be around a basic average level. Okay. Their ace Pokemon being the highest. Gotcha. Where were the partitions? On a 45. Not what I meant to hit. Ooh, I'll have some download the update when I get up. Yeah, just it dropped like last night at midnight-ish. And I downloaded it today. Gotta catch a Pichu to complete the first wild zone. I would just explore forever. Oh wait, no, there was that really big... I'm not sure if I want a Mareep or a Peach. I always go... Now the true question, will they be able to get into their bedroom? I want... I got a Pichu? Nice, that was super fast. God, you guys are seeing my inner interior design come out. Don't have a flat screen TV? Frick. Now what am I gonna put there? Not enough room for anything.
I drink and I know things.
Thank you,
Todd would
Kenny.
like you to drink something.
Delicious. Thank you. Like a couch, not like a chair. What's up? It's my favorite streamer. Oh my god, it's my favorite also streamer. Hi, Kenny. I'm doing okay. I'm trying to figure out how to decorate this house. Not like how as in like what is the process? It's more of a like, oh, how do I decorate this? How do I make this look good? I was never good at organizing on Animal Crossing. Yeah, I'm trying. I still wish I could put like a little tea. But what I might actually get to it. But on the stove. Bread basket. Wanted that. Need something that's like cooking. I don't want something cooked. Oh yeah, my Hershey's Raycons came in. That's awesome. You know what's coming in? The top of the hour ad break. If you don't want to see those ads, subscribe. If you don't want other people to see those ads, gift them a subscription. Thank you all for being here very much. For all, I guess I could have put, oh, I didn't know these were here. God. Okay, well, here's what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna this. It came with a sticker. I put them on my 3DS. That's great. No, that's not the TV I want. I want this bad boy. Believe it or not, I think I liked it better the other way. It's just more aesthetically pleasing. Not. How are we gonna fit a bathroom in this place? Okay. Don't tempt me, Blue. I'm searching for my 3DS now. I have mine inside. Need the fridge. I'd like the... Oh, wait. Fuck. Stickers are great. We'll come back to the kitchen. I definitely want to do the bathroom. You have FNAF on your 3DS? Did you mod it? Oh yeah, you did. But I don't think I can do half wall. Oh my god, I just watched that movie the other night. It was pretty good. I heard it was good. I think my stepson went to go see it and he said it was good. God. There's a second one coming out. It's already out. It came out like I think around like my birthday. I think like December something. A room. The ending made me giggle. I watched it. It was pretty good. Yeah, I heard no complaints. Oh, that's definitely not enough room for somebody to get through. Have a bathtub? Okay. Want to put the rug under the toilet because it doesn't make sense, but fuck it. Other rugs, maybe I could just put one down in the whole bathroom.